Hi folks, I'm here to do an upgrade on my garden. It's July 2012. Just going to have a look at some of the progress that's happened in the plants since my last video. So we'll start off here at the compost, where there's lots of good nutrients that I've been feeding to my garden. It's been a really wet year, so things have not progressed quite as well as they should, but here we have some tomato plants. These are beefsteak, and there is a tomato on each one of those, but they're hard to see at this point. I'll zero in on it more when we get to the next video that I do, when all the fruit is ripe and ready to eat. So here we are walking over to the garden, sort of the area around the garden here. Okay, so over here we'll start where we usually start, with the tomatoes. First plant here, gotten a lot bigger, but still not a whole lot of fruit on there yet. That's flowering good. We're on our third day of solid sunshine now, so it's changing quite dramatically. Over here we have what's left of the radishes growing, and the peas are in the back row here growing. They're doing much better now. You can see that they're starting to get some flowers on them, so they'll be producing peas very soon. And way down there in the middle, I planted a bunch of beets. Hard to see from up here, but they got red stems, so you can sort of see them, and they go all the way along the back here. So I'm going to be pulling these radishes out soon, which will bring more light in for the beets, and then we'll see what happens there. Here's my yellow tomato plant. It's gotten quite a bit bigger than the first time you saw it. Looking good. And the currant bushes are full of currants. They're really good. Let me see if I can zero in on a bush. Here's some currants right there. You can see the black currants. They're little guys, but if you get enough of them, they make quite a good tasting meal. There's some in there. Anyways, to take you over there, there's one of my oregano bushes, which attracts the bees. And here is the chamomile bush, full of flowers, ready to chop and make into tea. Here I've got a tomato plant, small one still, but it's going to start growing now with the sunny weather. And this sorrel plant's done really good. It's gotten quite big. Pepper plant here, hoping for good things. It's getting bigger every day. It's got flowers starting. Some wild chamomile, and a tomato plant there, cherry tomatoes. And here we have 2 rows of peppers. There's a row of green peppers and a row of yellow peppers. We'll hopefully see lots of progress there now with the sunshine. And the Italian beans are growing quite well here. They didn't all pop out like they were supposed to because of the rainy weather. There's another oregano bush over there. And these are my Swiss chard. Some of them have gone to seed and some are just growing, but I keep cutting them back, and I keep getting lots of leaf for my salads, and it's delicious. Here we have a row of green beans. They're doing pretty well. And what's left of the beets from last year, they're growing all over the place, but I've got new rows, so we'll see what happens. Another row of green beans, and then 2 rows of yellow beans, which didn't sprout like they should have. Must have been the weather. We'll see, but we're going to get lots of beans anyways. So going back over to the corner here, which I added this year, I've got quite a few squash plants growing here, and they're starting to get little guys on there. You can see they're yellow zucchini, and they're growing here. And there's in the middle there's a spaghetti squash, which is trailing down out here, coming out of the garden area into the yard, which I don't mind. Let it grow. Another pepper plant there growing, and over here there's 2 more zucchinis in the back. There's a scallop zucchini and a regular zucchini. So quite a bit of stuff there. So we'll go across the garden here. And I've planted 4 Roma plants here that are starting to take off now with the sunny weather. Starting to get flowers. They should look pretty good when they start getting fruit on them. And a couple more zucchini plants that are not as big as the other ones. I don't know, they're not growing as big over here. but they're still growing and they're starting to get little zucchinis on them. Over here, as we sweep over to the other tomato plants here, these are the 4-inch tomato plants, and they're growing. The plants are huge. They're starting to get some tomatoes, although they're kind of small, so I won't focus in on them right now. They got lots of flowers, so I expect lots of activity on them in the next little while. And over here, I've got the other part of the garden where there's lots of zucchinis growing here. Hoping for lots. I got onions going all around the perimeter of this garden. Multiplier onions, which have nice green shoots, which I can pick and eat and throw into salads or do whatever. Over here, this giant leek from last year is still laying down, but it's got now 4 seed pods growing out of it. It's the most unusual thing to watch, this plant. It's very strange, but it's exciting at the same time. And there's lots of young leeks growing down at the bottom here. They shoot up like grass, and they should all turn into large leeks as well. I've got my cucumbers starting now. They're growing pretty good. Since the sun started coming out, it made a big difference. Got my Italian parsley over here. I've been eating it like crazy. I love it. I just eat it raw and it tastes great. More of the multiplier onions. And then I've got these sunflower plants that I planted. This one's just starting to open up. This is my biggest one, which is taking its time, but I suspect it might turn into the biggest one of all. I got a little guy down there that just won't get bigger, but he's still alive. Another one there, and this beautiful oregano bush here, which I hope to have attracting the bees very soon. And another sunflower plant there. And another one that's just opening up over here. So it's getting there. It's starting to look really nice and colorful around here. There's one last section of the garden over here where I've got some curly parsley growing down here. That came up, that one I bought, but this one came up out of nowhere, out of the ground, so it's quite nice. And there's lots of stuff growing here. I've left this area mostly empty because I was hoping these cucumbers over here would do better. But maybe with the sunshine they'll start to get bigger quicker and start to spread out around here. There's some leeks growing over here as well that I just dropped the seeds here. And a couple of multiplier onions that are going to seed here. As you can see, they've been around for a while. And I've got 3 tomato plants here which are doing pretty good. They're all beefsteak, so hopefully we'll get lots. This one's got 2 tomatoes on it, as you can see down below here. And of course the beautiful oregano plants that are attracting the bees. So that's about it at this stage. I'm hoping for good things by the time my next video comes up, so hopefully we'll get lots of fruit. So thanks for joining me, and we'll talk to you next time around. Bye-bye.